All right, let's take a minute to go through the agenda, very much like yesterday where we were doing some algebra skills to get ready for Chapter 3. Today we're going to do some background information of identifying and classifying special angle pairs that are going to help us in Chapter 3. There's going to be four videos that you're going to watch that you will need your Chapter 3 notes for. If you're only printing off the page that you need per day, then check the module out. I have those pages down at the bottom of the module ready to go. If you picked up your Chapter 3 notes, you should have these copies. If you've printed all out the Chapter 3 notes from yesterday, you should have these copies. So I've taken and broken the videos into 4 segments just so they'll be more manageable. You can stop and make note cards along the way, especially when we're looking at these videos. You can see that there are a lot of different special types of angles that we are learning: corresponding angles, alternate interior angles, consecutive interior angles, alternate exterior angles, consecutive exterior angles. All those we want to be able to know the 2 or 3 bullet points underneath them, as well as how to identify them when we are given a figure. So right here is, and I talk about it on the video, an opportunity to make some note cards and add to your statements and reasons from chapters 1 and 2. These are things that are going to help us prepare for proofs as we go forward in the next couple of lessons. The next video we practice learning and identifying those different special angles. After that, we do a couple more of vocab, and so we have, once again, here 3 different opportunities to make sure that we know these terms and are able to use those, and then we practice them with being able to pick out some of those skew lines and make sure that we understand those vocabulary words that we just went through. We then practice a little bit more with our special angles on linear pairs, vertical angles, corresponding angles. We bring in ones from the last 2 chapters and this chapter so that we're making sure that we understand where they're located and how they go together. Your assignment is going to be 2 different things here. First, there is a Canvas quiz. This is a Canvas quiz that will give you some practice on special angles. It'll give you some practice on being able to pick out some of those, is it coplanar, is it a skew line, some of the vocabulary that have gone through in those 4 videos. What you might want to do before you hit that Canvas quiz is practice, practice, practice. I would say that you want to go back to chapters 1 and 2. This paper here is the statement and reason paper that we used for proofs. If you can't find yours, I put it in the module also. But these are all things that we should have committed to memory that we're going to need to recall as we start to build in now with the special angles into our proofs. So we need to spend some time going back through and making sure we understand this, remember this stuff from chapters 1 and 2. These are things that, yes, when you go to take your quizzes and assessments virtually, are you going to be able to access those? Yes. But are you going to be able to, now that we add more and more stuff, to be able to find those in the time limit that you have? So it's more than just, yeah, I have them, and if I look for them, I can understand them, but we really need to know them. So however you are practicing to make that happen, that needs to happen, okay? After you do that, you can go ahead and take your Canvas quiz. I do have it set that if you do not like your score the first time around, go ahead and go back and practice, 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 and take it again, okay? The goal is we need to learn these things, and we need to learn them now while we're practicing before we start layering more in and go to a test, okay? If you haven't done so already, this was part of the assignment from yesterday. This was the intro slide. You watched 4 different videos and then did practice problems. Mainly, all of this is Algebra 1 review, but it's very critical to our next lesson in Chapter 3. So if we do not know how to do slope, or write the equation of a line, or solve a system, or know the relationship between parallel and perpendicular lines, the coordinate geometry part is not going to be accessible to us. So we need to make sure that we have reviewed those videos and that we've practiced those assignments. Ideally, that should have happened yesterday or maybe early this morning, because at 2:30 today there is a optional Zoom session that if you do need help going through some of those Algebra 1 type review problems, that make sure you have the problem written down and that you come to Zoom at 2:30 and we can talk through and work through those problems, okay? But I want to make sure that we've got those Algebra 1 skills down before we start into the next lesson in Chapter 3. All right, I'll talk to everyone later. Have a good one.